Uh-oh. That is not what I wanted. Morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Yeah. Just looking at the control panel. Do you see, now that you're an organizer, do you see all the controls that you'll need?
I do. I see everything on the right-hand side.
Okay, great. And I see Diego. So now we're just waiting for Blanca.
Cool.
Morning.
Hey, I'm here too. If you need anything, just holler.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Hi, Jose.
Hi, Lisa.
How are you?
Oh,
I'm
hallelujah.
good.
You. I'm glad the webcam's working this time.
Yes.
All right. So while we're waiting for everyone and for the top of the hour, I'm just going to, one of us accidentally has started the presentation, and I'm not sure if I can change that or not. Recording, no, okay. I'm not going to record this part.
I clicked the broadcast as like just start
Okay,
the web.
well, just FYI, I should have said that yesterday, I'm sorry. FYI, that means that everyone who's joining can see us right now as we're getting ready. Cool. So, which is fine, that's fine. But just be mindful of that the audience, when they log on, will see us. Okay, and then I just want to make sure I have pronunciations correct for everyone's name. Diego, do I say your last name Martinez Moncada? Is that correct?
Yes. Yep, that's correct.
Okay, and Jose Ortega?
Yeah, correct. Just whatever,
Okay.
however you prefer to pronounce it, it's fine.
Well, no, I want to get it right. It's important.
No, it's Jose. Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, we're just waiting. Now, you might be able to start showing your screens without me handing over control to you, since you're organizers. Do you see that ability?
Mine is currently blanked out.
Okay, then I will make sure. Oh, good. And here's Blanca. I will make sure to switch over to you when it's time. And I did create a poll. I think after, Jose, after you're done, I will launch that and let people know to take a look at it, vote, keep it open for about a minute, think about questions, type them in, and then we can share the results and go into the Q&A.
Great.
Okay. Good morning, Blanca. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, great.
Kate, I have an option to make someone else a presenter.
Okay.
So I don't know if by clicking the broadcasting, I like made myself the controller of the platform, but.
I don't think so. I think we're all controllers, because
Okay.
I also have the option to change presenters. So just to be on the safe side, I will click on that as each of you go. We'll do Blanca first, then Diego, then Jose. Morning.
Good morning. I didn't realize
Morning.
the camera was on.
So we've got 4 minutes to go. And I just want to make sure, am I pronouncing your name correctly? Blanca Laborde?
Yes.
Okay, great.
I'm going to close the door just in case.
Okay.
It's that work from home thing.
I'm in my son's bedroom because we have an open house and not everyone on this broadcast needs to hear Minecraft videos. So this is the only place.
You have the best art.
Yeah. And maybe a cat will wander in, who knows, a dog.
So let's see if I can find the share screen here. Make sure.
Under on your panel, you should have a tab that says sharing.
Okay, let's see. On the control panel, sharing. I know I found it yesterday and now I can't.
It should be at the very top of that little menu, and it's a drop down menu.
Sharing. Okay, here we go. Show.
Perfect. If you want to go ahead and get that, you can do that. We'll start in 2 minutes.
It says that it's waiting to view your screen, and show is grayed out for me. There we go.
Is
That's
that better? I
you.
mean, okay, so
Well,
that
now
answers.
I've been made the presenter. Okay, so then if I hit show. Oh, show my screen. Okay. But I'll leave it the way it is right now, right?
Okay. We'll start in a little under 2 minutes. So thanks everyone for hanging in there. We'll just wait for some more people to log on. Sometimes it's a little hard to get started in the morning.
How many people did we have today for today, did you say?
I believe we have close to 50 registered, so hopefully we'll get a good amount of folks logging in. Okay.
Oh, I think we're on.
Sorry?
I think we're on. People can hear us.
Yes, we are on. I'm going to just wait about 30 more seconds for people to log on, and then I'll kick us off. Thanks everyone for hanging in there. All right. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us. Despite what my name may say on the screen, I am Kate Harrington. I'm the Outreach and Engagement Manager for Movability. Thank you for joining us for the 3rd webinar of our series, exploring the role that mobility will play as Central Texas prepares to reopen. Just a note, please type in questions if you have them, and note who the question is directed towards. After the panelists have given their presentations, we will have time for a quick poll, and then Q&A session. We will try to get to all those questions. Just a little bit about Movability before we start. Movability is Central Texas's Transportation Management Association. We work with employers and commuters to help them reach their goals with mobility planning. That means we offer customized planning services, networking, and introductions to our many partner members. We also partner with our lead members, the City of Austin, Capital Metro, the Downtown Austin Alliance, and the CTRMA. If anyone has any questions about what Movability does or how we can help your workplace, please feel free to reach out to me and my colleague Anton Cox, and I will make sure our contact information will be in the chat box toward the end of the presentations. Our 3 panelists today are Blanca Laborde, a Senior Regional Manager with Bird, Diego Martinez Mancada, Executive Director of Austin B-Cycle, and Jose Ortega, General Manager of Revel in Austin. So I am now going to turn it over to Blanca.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Kate. And thank you to Movability. Thank you for hosting this really critical and timely webinar series so that we can just talk about how transportation providers, policymakers, employers, and individuals can help our region get back to work. I'm very excited to be here today and very excited to be on this panel with my fellow micromobility providers here in Austin. Oh, I don't think you can see my screen. There we go. I think you can see it now, right?
Yes, we can see it. Thank you.
Okay, great. So, a lot of things have changed since early March. It was springtime. The bird team had been planning for South by Southwest. We were trying to account for every contingency, everything that could go wrong. We had also just launched a brand new vehicle. So here on this slide, you see that is what they call on social media the last normal photo before COVID. That's the last picture I have. That was me. That's me and Gonzo Sanchez, our general manager of operations here in Austin, with that vehicle we'd launched. 2 days later, 2 days after this photo, I was sitting in traffic when I heard the news that South by had been canceled. And I was devastated, of course, and we didn't know at the time that was just the beginning. And in the 2 months since then, our lives and our businesses and our world has really been transformed. And while our communities suffered as businesses closed down and people lost their jobs, and those of us who were able to stopped commuting and started working from home. But we've also gotten a glimpse of what Austin and what cities around the world can look like with fewer cars and safer streets and cleaner air. So as Austin and cities around the world start to reopen and turn that economic engine back on, we've got some critical risks to city health that come with increased car use. And cities around the world are preparing for that surge in car traffic, bad air quality and crippling congestion, even a bigger decline in transit use, and of course, injury and death. Here you see some of the mobility data in the last week. You can see that Austin traffic is already beginning to increase in the last few days. Right now, we're only 16% below pre-COVID levels. So how do we get back to work? How do we turn our community back on, but not get back to traffic? Well, we can do this, but no one can do this alone. We're going to have to work together. This is going to require collaboration between transit agencies, private operators, the city, and employers, all aligned and in agreement that safe, reliable, sustainable mobility is our #1 priority. There's never been a better time to redefine ourselves and how we get to that 50-50 mode split that we talk about in our strategic mobility plan. So the goal really is to strengthen the transportation network in Austin to help people move around safely and efficiently in the community, right? We know that transit ridership has declined worldwide, and Capital Metro has really done an amazing job of pivoting and adjusting service, and I'm sure that we are going to continue to work to get those transit use levels back up to the record levels we had before this crisis, right? But working together, we can figure out how micromobility can fill some of those gaps right now that transit can't meet because of limited or reduced service, or just because of lowered transit use. We know that e-bikes and scooters are going to play a really important role in helping cities recover and rebuild and get moving again. We know already, just seeing increased transit use. Increased use of bikes. We know more people are walking and getting around the city, not in their cars. So e-bikes and scooters, they're easily adaptable. They're versatile, and micromobility is naturally socially distant. Birds and bikes give folks a solitary commute option so they can travel safely, maintain social distance, and get to their destination door to door without having to be in a confined space or use rideshare or get in their cars. So during COVID-19, we've been focused on the safety of our team and our riders. We did see a change in demand around the middle of March when our community was asked by our local leaders to stay home and stay safe. But our service during the pandemic has been continuous and evolving. People still need to take essential trips, and they still need to get around. We certainly have seen a change in ridership patterns. And one of the things we've seen is trips have gotten longer. You know, we're going to continue to examine that data. You know, are people getting out and about, or trips getting longer because more people are joyriding, just the pure joy of getting out? Or are people using it to commute, or as a safer alternative to rideshare for those 1 to 2 mile trips when you might have, you know, called a rideshare? And we're trying to support the community in all of the ways that we can, from free rides for our healthcare workers and first responders who can sign up by emailing together@bird.co. We've got a program also that's honoring our local heroes that allows people to nominate workers and volunteers who are playing that critical role in the community. And also, you know, local businesses. We know our local businesses have taken a hit, and we have been integrating some of those into our Bird app. So when you open up the Bird app, you will see local businesses earlier that were open for takeout or delivery, or now that are open. You know, the idea is that people, as they're getting out, they might frequent a nearby restaurant, go pick up delivery, or on the way see something that they didn't realize was open. And we've also done a social media campaign along with that encourages people to support local businesses and really highlighting some of those Austin businesses. And we've also been reaching out to riders, of course, to let them know that we're available. And as the city opens up, we're increasing the number of birds, and rides are increasing. We want people to know that they're free to move around safely, to breathe, to enjoy their commute, to frequent a local business, or as my husband says, to air themselves out and just, you know, enjoy the outdoors and experience some of that joy that comes from being outdoors and from birding. And of course, we're also letting our riders know what we're doing to clean our vehicles. Each bird is disinfected regularly. We have a rigorous process to routinely clean and disinfect each bird every time we come into contact with it, every time it comes into our custody, or every time that our team encounters them in the right of way. We're also, part of our communications to riders is letting them know, reminding them of social distancing and hygiene guidelines to maintain that 6-foot space between them and other road users. And also, you know, just a general reminder to practice good hygiene and regularly wash their hands while they're out and about. And of course, we've been promoting our team safety. Just, you know, as I mentioned, the safety of our team is also paramount to us. And all of our team has been provided with not only safety gear, but also training on how to disinfect each one of our vehicles. So moving forward and helping our community really restart that economic engine. You know, our goal is to be there for our riders. You know, this is a new opportunity for better, safer, cleaner mobility to be part of our daily lives. Where are people going and how are they getting there? Where are they working? We're going to continue to monitor utilization and ridership patterns and position ourselves strategically around the city to be sure that our riders can find a bird where they want, when they want, and be able to provide that option for people to move around safely, get to work, run errands, connect to transit, frequent those local businesses without getting in their cars. You know, survey data indicates that about 60% of bird rides across the US connect to local shops and restaurants. So that is one of the strategic locations where we're starting to place our birds, in addition to grocery stores and pharmacies. And micromobility increases, of course, employment opportunities by as much as 40% in conjunction with public transit. We know that where we work and how we work has fundamentally changed, at least for the short term, right? There's also significant mental health benefits that we've heard reported in some of these other webinars that Movability has hosted for people who have eliminated long commutes. The mental health benefit of not spending time in traffic in your car cannot be overstated. So as employers are changing their policies, and if employees are teleworking 2 or 3 days a week, what are their commuting options on the other days? So we look forward to continuing to work with Movability and with employers to really put in place some of those commuting options, including perhaps employer discounts that are going to improve productivity, engagement, and quality of life of employees. So we know that people are biking, walking more during COVID-19. I mean, I only need to look out my window to see it, but the data also shows it's true. So what does this mean for the choices that people are going to make? How do we encourage mode shift? How do we encourage those choices and reinforce that new habit? Well, one is of course, by being sure that mobility is available, affordable, and accessible, right? Carving out space for micromobility helps us be sure that that these modes are accessible. We also have some programs that we're implementing to encourage a mode shift, such as we've got a frequent flyer program. So frequent birders get discounts for riding, including free rides during commuting hours. And of course, continuing to work with employers on employer discounts that they might be able to also offer to their employees. Infrastructure and safe streets. One sure way to change the way we travel for short distances is by building better places to walk, bike, and bird. We know this. Statistically, 61% of e-scooter riders say that protected bike lanes is the single biggest factor that contributes to their sense of safety. So the construction of protected cycling infrastructure, it creates what we call a virtuous cycle that encourages more riders to convert to alternate modes of mobility. It encourages more people when they have a safe lane, protected lane, safe place to ride, they're going to walk, they're going to bike, they're going to scoot more often, which in turn creates more critical mass to continue to develop those lanes. In cities all over the world, and Austin, like those cities, has already closed some streets, and we're moving forward here in Austin with the Healthy Streets initiative, and we're really excited about that and hoping that this is going to help to build out that network of safe places to walk and bike and scoot that in turn is going to encourage the mode shift. And finally, collaboration with local government. We recently put an article up in our bird blog talking about cities that are getting it right with micromobility during COVID-19, and I was very proud that Austin was included in that list. We've had a very collaborative partnership with the city of Austin. They're committed to mode shift and being leaders in transportation, and look forward to continuing to work with them on that flexible regulation that's going to meet our community goals, but also is going to allow for flexibility and innovation so that we can, not only can our city begin to thrive again, so not only can we light that economic engine, but micromobility companies can continue to innovate and thrive. So I'm going to close by saying, I know we're going to get through this stronger than ever. As far as the bird team, Austin is a regional hub for us. We've got a big team here. We're committed to Austin. We have a very, very clear sense of purpose that unifies us and our partners and stakeholders. So we're looking forward to working with everyone to really unleash that resourcefulness and creativity and innovation that we are known for here in Austin.
Wonderful. Thank you, Blanca. With that, I am going to switch over to Diego. Give me 1 second. Sorry. There we go.
All right, can everybody see that?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
All right, perfect. Hey everybody, thank you for having me. I'm the executive director of Austin B-Cycle, which is operated by Bike Share of Austin. We are the local nonprofit that operates Austin B-Cycle, and we have been here since 2013. We are the longest running bike share system in Austin, or micromobility system in Austin. As an organization, we're run by locals, and we're in tune with communities' needs and how to best serve them. Thanks to partnerships, both local and national, Bike Share of Austin has been serving the Austin community since 2013. And below you can just see a little timeline of everything that we've done throughout our years, or bits and pieces of what we've done throughout the years. We launched in 2013. We expanded significantly in 2014 and 2015. In 2016, we continued to expand and surpass 1 million trips. In 2017, we made a major change to the way that the ridership is done by including 60 minutes in each of the passes that's associated with these trips. In 2018, we expanded to 63 stations, and we launched our University of Texas at Austin ridership program, which we found to be incredibly successful and saw tremendous ridership from students and offered them the opportunity to get to class in a completely different way than before. In 2019, we expanded to 76 stations, and we surpassed 1,200,000 trips. And then in 2020, we began a 200 e-bike pilot and are in the process of formalizing some partnerships with other transportation stakeholders here in the city of Austin that we think will go a long way towards expanding the availability of Austin B-Cycle to Austin residents. And here you can kind of see a little bit of some of the numbers that we've accomplished to date. You can see that people have pedaled over 3.5 million miles. We've burned over 143 million calories. Over 284,000 car trips have been avoided. Over 3 million pounds of carbon have been offset, and we provided over 1,200,000 trips. Overall, you can see that not only are we a transportation option, but we were also a health benefit to anybody who decides to ride one of our bicycles. Something that we consider very important to us are our equity initiatives, especially right now during COVID, when anybody and everybody needs optimal opportunity to get around and try to get back to normal as easy as possible. We have some of our offerings in these equity initiatives are $12 annual memberships for students and staff at UT. To date, we've offered over 300,000 trips to both students and staff. At Houston-Tillotson, we have a free annual membership for students and staff as well. That is a partnership with the City of Austin. We also have B-Cycle for All, which offers a $5 annual membership for low-income individuals, and there we've offered over 12,000 trips. And more recently, one of our new initiatives is to be working with Austin Energy to provide e-bike access to residents at HACA properties. Currently, we have 2 stations at HACA properties, but hopefully through this partnership, we're not only able to educate the residents of HACA properties about e-bikes and how to get around and use our system, but we're also just able to increase their access to them as well. So Corona has obviously thrown a kink in all of our plans, like everybody else. South by Southwest was going to be a big time for us. To date, South by Southwest is by far our biggest ridership, with ACL being a close second. And so in anticipation of South by Southwest, we have been working closely with Cat Metro, the City of Austin, and B-Cycle to put forth a e-bike pilot, as was previously mentioned. We were expecting to see crazy amounts of ridership, as the e-bikes get about 4.5 times ridership to what we call, or to our original bikes, the 1.0 bikes. However, COVID threw a major kink in that. So today we are still having the e-bike pilot out there. Its end date is indeterminate at the moment. We're hoping to keep these bikes in the field permanently. We think that there's a very strong possibility. So everything that's out there currently, we hope will again remain out there. In order to prepare for COVID or prevent the spread of COVID within our staff and our users, we redesigned all of our shifts so that they're more staggered and everybody is working by themselves, either in the truck, out in the field, or in the shop. All of our office employees have also all begun working from home. We do anticipate hopefully opening up around June 1st, but we are keeping a close eye on how everything goes, and of course following the direction of the city in all of this. In order to add safety to the users, we've increased the sanitation of our stations and our bikes. Whereas before there was a sanitation schedule, now it's every interaction that one of our staff members has with any of our equipment, it is sanitized before and after the interaction. We, fortunately, before South by Southwest, we bought a bunch of sanitizing equipment, and thus far that's been able to get us through everything that we've been needing to do. So we've had increased availability of hand sanitizer, rubbing alcohol, dish soap, what have you. We're mixing everything and anything that we can to ensure that everything is remaining sanitized at all times. Previously, everybody on staff would use these mechanic gloves that were reusable, but since everything changed, we've switched over to using reusable gloves as opposed to disposable, just to ensure that there's additional safety. And then this has now changed, but we did have reduced hours of operation just to minimize the number of touches that the bikes were getting, while still being able to offer essential trips throughout the day and into the evening. But as we saw, the trips weren't necessary overnight for an extended period of time, so we tried to prevent those trips from happening. So how are we supporting essential trips and everybody who needs to get around still? So we have partnered with the City of Austin to offer a complimentary 3-day weekender pass, so that anybody and everybody who has essential trips can have the opportunity to get that pass complimentary. The information is on our website, and the city is also very willing to just offer the promo code to anybody and anybody who needs it. We ourselves are also offering 50% off our annual pass during the stay-at-home order. We have seen an increase in people wanting to become members as a result of the e-bikes being in the system. And right now, of course, everybody's going through some economic hardships, so we wanted to make it as easy as possible to get into our system and start riding. We've always been pretty lenient with our first-time riders, but now more than ever, we are being extremely lenient with our first-time riders, ensuring that we explain how the system works if they don't know how it's supposed to work, and then forgiving any usage fees or any other fees they may incur while they're out on their trip. Messaging. So of course, before, our messaging was very much tailored to encouraging people to get on the bike at every opportunity that they can. At the moment, that's obviously not the best option. So what we've decided to do, while wanting to still offer the bike as an option for people to get around, we didn't want to seem to be encouraging unnecessary ridership. So we've transitioned to being transparent in our sanitation efforts. We've been telling people that cycling is optimal for social distancing. For example, did you know that the bike is about 6 feet in length? So keeping a bike distance away from another individual is perfect for the social distancing. And it's a lot more fact-based than it is just kind of quirky and fun. We are hoping to be able to transition back to that, but again, we want to make sure that we're being ethical in all of our messaging and not encouraging unnecessary ridership. Other messages that we're focusing on are showing that we are the longest running system in Austin. We're a local nonprofit, and then we also just like to tout how our vehicles have been in the system since the very beginning, and they continue to serve the public, and as long as we maintain them, they will be there for as long as they can stand the weather and the use and everything. So going forward, we are planning on converting our fleet to e-bikes, and also at any stations that get added will be the new 3.0 docks offered from B-Cycle. As far as the e-bikes go, we see about 4.5 times greater ridership than what we call our acoustic bikes. The frame is made by Trek, so it's a high quality product, and then the drivetrain is powered by Bosch. Both of those are top of the line producers for e-bikes, and so the life of our product is going to be extremely long. It's going to be incredibly reliable, and you will see that the response from it is just absolutely phenomenal. One of the bigger changes is going to be our 3.0 docks. So as right now, our stations are pretty rigid, and they have the kiosks, they have the base plates, they have the map end, and then they have the individual docks that you actually put the bike into. Going forward, B-Cycle is going to be putting all the intelligence into the individual docks so that we're able to design stations that are as small as 2 docks or as big as 42, and that they can be shaped in any shape that you would like. And all of that is powered by a lithium-ion battery that lasts approximately 3 months and is very easily swapped out and charged to last another 3 months. The whole idea behind this change is, one, we recognize that density is, or we recognize that density is the biggest answer to ensuring that everybody has the availability of a vehicle wherever they would like. At the end of the day, we like the orderly system of the dock-based system. So that is the direction that we are going to continue to head forward on. And B-Cycle also is going to continue offering support for that. Going forward, these will all interact with our current stations. So no matter what bike you have, you'll be able to dock it into one of the stations we have now or into one of our future stations. And something that's incredibly exciting is that both the new dock and the e-bike have the availability to have in-field charging. So while that is not available today, it will be available in the near future, and hopefully allow us to be future-proof with our product. So that's all I've got right now, and very much appreciate your attention.
Great, thank you so much, Diego. I am going to switch over to Jose now with Rebel.
Hi, good morning. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, great. First of all, I'd like to say thank you so much to Kate and Lisa at Movability. As a newcomer to Austin, moving here in November, everyone's been very kind and receptive. Also, I'd like to thank the City of Austin, the Austin Transportation Department, who's also been very kind and also very respectful in the process of allowing us to operate in Austin as a newcomer. So I'm very excited to be here today. As a new kid on the block, I'm originally from West Texas, so super excited to be back in Austin. Last time I lived here was in 2010 during a summer internship. So happy to be here. Really excited about the future of mobility in Austin, and I'm really excited to share this presentation with you guys today. All right, can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. So for those of you guys that don't know us, we are Rebel. We're a startup that started in Brooklyn and have been operating in Austin since November of 2019. And our motto is that we move people both physically and also we move people in terms of giving them a great experience. So on that note, those that don't know the product, we are street legal, meaning that we do not operate on sidewalks. Every vehicle has a DMV issued license plate, and we require a driver's license to operate. In addition, our product is quite space efficient. 7 mopeds can fit in 1 parking spot. In the city of Austin, anywhere that you see paid parking for city parking, you can actually park for free. In addition, we really pride ourselves on being affordable. It's $5 to sign up. That just covers your background check, $1.15 to unlock, and 33 cents a minute. Quite affordable when you compare other modes of getting around on the street, specifically ride hailing. In Austin, we've identified it's an extremely progressive city, so the sustainability factor is very important to us, given that we operate a fully electrical fleet. And in addition, the city of Austin has a very diverse culture that we're very proud and very excited to be a part of, meaning that we fit into the smart trips, to the short trips for multiple uses, which can be for 1 mile trips downtown to get around during lunch, or 3 mile trips plus if you live in the east side getting down to the parks. So that's our product, but I'd like to tell you guys a little bit about us and how we operate as a company. Is we never launch in any cities without permission. We were fortunate to be part of a new regulation that passed late in Q4 of 2019 that enabled us to operate on the streets as a slow mobility entity. So with that being said, we don't ride on the roads. We don't ride on the sidewalks. We ride on the roads. We provide 2 helmets and insurance. We're engaged with the city. As I mentioned earlier, we've been really fortunate to have such a progressive and very in the weeds thinking Austin Transportation Department. We don't operate the gig economy, meaning that myself, everyone that works on the team here in Austin, and also up to our CEO, we all have the same benefits. And everyone that you see working on the bikes and redistributing the bikes after they're being fixed actually is a Rebel employee. And one thing that I really like about the Rebel team and being a part of this team is we're very accountable, meaning that if we're in a neighborhood that we feel the residents would best like us to remove some of the assets, or they like us to put them a little further away based on the culture in that community, we're happy to come out and really adjust to the culture and to the needs of the city and the residents. With that being said, we feel like we want to really be responsible and responsive. Before coronavirus, we provided less than 7 days a week. Depending on the local regulation, that'll really dictate when we'll give those again. So look out for those who want to take a lesson. In addition, there's plenty of content on YouTube that will give you a virtual lesson of how to operate. We had a really good time hosting the Movability group when they came out. Our team was really excited to meet you guys, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. The 24/7 hour community service hotline is really great. We have a New York team that supports the fleet and also all of our users, so feel free to call that with any questions or requests. Right after this presentation, I'm actually going to go to do a Rebel Ranger shift myself, where we all work along the clock. We work around the clock to have immediately respond to any reports of improper parked vehicles, or in addition to keep the fleet clean and well maintained. One thing about Rebel is, as we mentioned, we want to be accountable. We also hold our users accountable. So far in the city of Austin, there's been more than 100 people that have actually been suspended from the platform. So we don't allow anyone to ride in the trails, ride on sidewalks, or ride without helmets. So we really advocate safety. So please keep that in mind. And as I mentioned, we are willing to remove people that are not willing to abide by the laws or the culture in Austin that we want to advocate. So how's it going so far? We actually had a really great feedback come back from our users. Is 80% of our users in our survey agreed that Rebel is helping achieve the 50-50 mode split goal. For those that are not familiar with that, the city of Austin did an awesome job on the previous webinar series that Movability held describing that. If you didn't get a chance to check it out, please do. I really enjoyed watching that. So thanks again, Movability, for putting that together. 85% of respondents indicate Revel replaced at least one car trip. So that's a really great data for us, and it really makes me feel motivated to continue to advocate the service and push Revel forth, and also educate Austinites so that they can contribute to the 50-50 multiple goal, and also have a lot more enjoyable rides and enjoy the city and be really exposed to it in a more intimate way. 36% of rides in downtown, and 9% of those within a short walking distance of UT. Reducing traffic and parking issues in high congested areas. Again, as Austinites, we're all very familiar with the parking costs can be sometimes. So keep in mind that with Revel, you're insured, you have a license, your licensed vehicle that you've rented, and you can park for free anywhere that it has paid parking downtown. So very similar, like B-Cycle mentioned, I think it's great how they promote the shared equity. We also do the same in this access program that we push. It's an access program that offers 40% of ride discounts and a $10 credit to anyone who's eligible for on participating in local, state, or federally administered assistance programs. So please, if you fall into this category, go enroll online into our gorevel.com/access. This is a great benefit, and we have several people in Austin now benefiting from this and making those trips very affordable for you, those specifically suffering from COVID and the economic crisis or have lost their jobs. If you can provide some sort of proof of that, we're happy to give you a 40% outright discount for the entire duration of your membership with us. In addition, we actually have 2 Marine veterans that run our operations, both Sean and Michael. So we really support our veterans by hiring veterans. In addition, also providing discounts. We have a 20% discount to any veteran that can that's an active duty or providing military ID. And so far, we've been able to save close to $150,000 across our markets for these access programs for our riders. So what have we done in terms of COVID response? We've actually are making trips available for essential riders in New York City, DC, Austin, and Oakland. So far, we've given over 2,600 healthcare workers free active memberships, enhanced training, operational and internal vehicle cleaning procedures. We've also, since we have our own fleet and our own employees, implementing the cleaning processes has just been very natural for us, giving our platform and our procurement process. So every time we swap a battery, every time a vehicle comes in to get fixed, or every time myself or someone else who's Revel ranging gets to a battery, we actually do go and disinfect it using EPA approved chemicals. In addition to our cleaning and our healthcare worker initiative, we provide free rides to restaurant employees that are doing deliveries. So far across all of our Revel platform, 25 restaurants participating. So that means that we've given free rides to these delivery workers and these restaurants to actually use the platform for free as they deliver food. 86% of the restaurants said that they were able to keep their staff employed. So we really feel great about doing something during this time. There's a lot of uncertainty. So during the coronavirus, I know it's been very difficult for us. So actually having the ability to make an impact has just been very rewarding for me and our team. In addition, we have regular customer and local government communication regarding the best riding practices and changing and digital measures being taken. So with that being said, we've been featured in several articles here mentioned on the right, and we're very grateful for the city of Austin for considering Revel as an essential service to the city during this time. One very impactful thing on the right-hand side here that I thought it would be great to show is these are actually the trips that we've seen our healthcare workers take in the city of New York. We're now operating in Manhattan and in the Bronx, and as you can see, all of the white lines there represent every trip a healthcare worker has taken. This hasn't only happened in New York and the other 4 cities I mentioned, but here in Austin, we changed our service areas to include Seton Family of Hospitals, Northwest Hills Surgical Hospital, St. David South Austin Medical Center. And one really cool quote that we got from one of our users is a gentleman named William. He's a patient care technician at St. David's. He said, Having access to Revel during the pandemic has been extremely helpful. Revel has allowed me to retrieve food and coffee before and after my shift, as well as run small essential errands. This in turn has allowed me to show up to work 100%. So as an Austinite, this just really warms my heart, and it's just such an honor to be part of an emerging industry where we can actually make a difference. Not just the healthcare workers, but we were fortunate enough to have the opportunity to help Emmer and Rye and El Arroyo. There's a photo here where me and Stephen, our community affairs manager, and Sean, our senior ops managers, we were able to provide these rides and maintain this fleet so that these businesses can continue to deliver food and keep these people employed. And in addition, on the right-hand side, you can see Jeff, one of our service technicians, continuing to disinfect the mopeds after it's being worked on. So that's all I had for you guys today. I wanted to keep it brief, but also just give you a general overview of what we're doing during coronavirus. One thing that Movability asked me to talk about is, what we want to do going forward in terms of the future of mobility during coronavirus. So we want to continue to work with local businesses. We're always willing to hear different ideas of collaborating with them. We want to continue to integrate into the infrastructure. Everyone else on the call, the fellow people in the mobility space mentioned Cap Metro. I agree. Cap Metro is doing a great job. So we look forward to continuing to collaborate with these different public transportation systems and networks so that we can help advocate both these access programs, help with local restaurants, and also continue to make Austin just a great and vibrant place for people to visit and live.
Great. Thank you so much, Jose. Thank you, everyone. I am going to launch a poll here that all attendees should be able to see and vote on. And while everyone is looking at that and voting, please also take the time to type in any questions that you might have. And I will kick it off with one question for all of our attendees. I'm sorry, for all of our panelists. Could each of you talk a little bit about whether there's potential for partnerships with local businesses, for example, like as a last mile solution, and what that could look like? Jose, why don't we start with you? We'll go in reverse order. Jose, Diego, Blanca.
Great. Yeah, sure. So the question was if there was any potential for collaboration with local businesses, or may you please rephrase the question?
Yeah, is there potential for each of your organizations to form a partnership with local businesses, potentially to have a number of vehicles at a certain office park, for instance, or to offer, discounted memberships for employees of a certain business? What could that look like? I'm just throwing out ideas. I don't know if those are possible, but can you talk about any partnerships that you have or might be looking at with developers and employers?
Yeah, no, this is a great question. So given the recent just change of the landscape in the mobility space that coronavirus has invasively placed on all of us, we think that it really just speaks true to the spirit of Revel, which is literally working with local businesses and really meeting the needs of people who are both essential and non-essential. So yes, we plan on continuing to have conversations with these restaurants and these essential workers that we've helped and also been able to collaborate and have helped us spread awareness of what our offerings are. And we are currently in discussions with different local businesses in Austin so that we could advocate mobility as a service. So absolutely. So anyone who has any sort of suggestions or that has any ideas in terms of how Revel could work with local businesses to help their business succeed and thrive, we are open to listen to those recommendations. And in addition, those types of, I think that the work from home order has really given Austin the ability to see just how doable it is for people to work from home. So we are open to also discussing different solutions with these employees and employers who think they could benefit from the use of our platform as a service, or also as part of their employee benefits package. So absolutely, we'd love to have those conversations, and we're actively having them right now.
Wonderful, thank you. Diego, what about B-Cycle?
Yeah, so for the future, strengthening our partnership with the City of Austin and with Cap Metro will allow us to put more stations in more locations. So for the future, densification and the ready availability of a station right outside a building is certainly possible. Currently, we work with developers and more property owners to get a station on there. But as to what we can do for local businesses currently, we are currently partnering with businesses, and we'll continue to partner with businesses and offer all essential workers future trips, as well as continuing forward trying to figure out some sort of discount or just free trips in general for any of the businesses, ensuring that our stations are close enough to be able to be useful to them.
Wonderful, thank you. Right, and Blanca, how about Bird?
Yes, so absolutely, we have programs where we'd love to partner with local businesses. I know we've already worked with Movability and a couple of Movability members in order to do demo rides, showing some employees how to ride safely and distributing helmets as well. And truly, we can customize the solution and how we whatever fits for that particular business. I know in another city, we have partnered with a law firm who has found that their runners now no longer have to take their cars to go to the courthouse, from the courthouse to the municipal courthouse to the federal courthouse. They now take Micromobility, and they have a wall of helmets, and they have found that employee morale has really improved, so that all of their runners no longer have to spend so much time driving in and out of garages, driving around town and being in traffic. We can also, work with businesses to be sure that birds are available. We've worked with developers to incorporate parking. So really, the sky's the limit, from discounts to just facilitating and providing safety gear and training for people.
Excellent, thank you. And everyone should be able to see the results of this poll too. I'm gonna hide those results in just a second, but I'll give everyone a chance to read through this. One more question. Again, this is directed towards all of the panelists today. Have any of you partnered or worked with developers directly as they designed and built their projects, or with property managers? Blanca, why don't we start with
Yes, absolutely, we have. Both at the design phase and also working with some groups here in Austin that are designing and developing some larger complexes and talking about how we're going to move people in and out of those places. So again, it's been everything from the design phase, close partnerships to have parking available there in those buildings, setting aside areas to charge, setting aside areas to park. So yes, absolutely, and we'd love to continue to do so.
Great. And what about Diego?
Yes, we've worked with developers up in the domain, and we've also worked with developers downtown to design from the very beginning. And we've also worked to design to add additions. So several developers have always been willing to put down additional concrete to house one of our stations. It's of course easier from the get-go. We also have been working to increase our trip mitigation count so that developers have a bigger incentive to put B-Cycle stations on their campus. And one of the other things that we work alongside that is ensuring that there are other B-Cycle stations in the general vicinity to ensure that that station is going to get plenty of use once it's on the property.
Excellent, great. And Jose?
Yeah, no, this is a great question. And I think that now that coronavirus is a factor, it'll be very interesting to see how the real estate business changes, just based on a lot of those fixed access are actually leverage that banks use to give out loans. So it's just a really interesting time in terms of what the space will be. But I'll give you a little background of what we've done in the past. We've been having great conversations with hotels, specifically before South by Southwest, and having parking agreements so that Revel is offered as a as a service to their hotel guests. So we've talked to hotels. We've had conversations with transportation providers in the city, and as well as the colleges that really serve the student bodies and the students in the city. So there's also regulation that does give developers benefits in terms of reducing the amount of parking that they need to build if they partner with a shared mobility provider. It was something that I was aware that Car2Go was very adamant before they left the city working with, and we definitely would like to have those opportunities and also work with those developers who are interested in having those same benefits if they do apply. So yes, we've had conversations specifically around the tourist part of the economy, but we're happy to have those conversations if they see that it's mutually beneficial between them and Rebel to seek those benefits in the development space, whether it's residential or commercial buildings.
Excellent, thank you. All right. Well, I think with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to our presenters and to everyone who attended. I hope this was helpful. Just a quick reminder, Movability is here to work with any employers who are wondering how to incorporate mobility options like micromobility or teleworking or flex hours. We all know that things are going to look a little bit different going forward. So if you need help figuring out what that's going to look like and how options can fit into that and help you move your workforce forward safely, we are here to help you with that. We also have NPO Go, which is our program for 501c3 nonprofit organizations. So thanks to funding through that program, nonprofits that fall in that category can access our services at little to no cost at all. So we want to help our community in that way. And we have memberships for all sizes of businesses in Central Texas, starting from the very smallest at 2 employees all the way up to thousands. So please feel free to reach out to us anytime. And with that, I'm going to say goodbye and thank you to everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Take care.
Thank you very much.